Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in June. I very welcome my friends and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Welcome back to Big Mouth. I'm Mick Meanus. You can continue this conversation over on my Twitter at Movies TV Mag. There's a great many subjects we can discuss, of course. Now, welcome to my latest video. Yes, Joker is the best comic book movie of 2019, an article from Screen Rant. Now, I've read this a little bit, and there are issues I want to take with this article, so we're going to go through it slowly and see what they have to say. Let's not forget who Access Media are. This is an article by Craig Elvey, is it? Anyway, not heard of him before, but that's not a surprise. I don't have a list of all the journalists using the terms loosely at Screen Rant. Despite stiff competition from the Marvel side of the equation, Joker is the best comic book movie of 2019. It feels almost redundant to say that. 2019 was a good year for comic book movies. Superheroes are hitting the big screen with such regularity that almost every year since 2008, should we say 1999, 2000, Singers X-Men 2, Raimi Spider-Man 2. Yeah, it didn't all start in 2008, and actually 2005 Batman Begins. Then 2008, was it? The Dark Knight as well. So come on, stop it. Where are we? Right, has been a gift to comic book fans. Nevertheless, the past 10 months have seen Marvel release their first female-fronted venture in the form of Captain Marvel, and then claim the ultimate prize as Avengers Endgame toppled Avatar in the all-time box office rankings. Meanwhile, the summer belonged to Peter Parker and the field trip from hell. Or maybe the Spider-Man movie from hell. And DC built on the success of 2018's Aquaman with the highly enjoyable Shazam. So far, I can agree with that. Admittedly, Fox's X-Men franchise ended with a Dark Phoenix-shaped whimper, and Hellboy didn't reinvent the character in the way fans were hoping for. But before moviegoers began turning their attentions towards Harley Quinn, Wonder Woman, and Phase 4, DC had one last card left up its sleeve. 2019 sleeve. Todd Phillips' Joker starring Joaquin Phoenix in the title role. It would be an understatement to say that no one quite knew what to expect from Joker. Was it a DCEU movie? Was it even a Batman movie? What business does a comic book adaptation have winning awards at fancy film festivals? And yet, despite a controversy-laden marketing campaign, which a cynic might suggest was at least partly orchestrated, yeah, I could agree with that, concerns about presenting a villain in a sympathetic light, and more questions marks than the Riddler's favourite jacket. Joker has triumphed both in commercial and critical terms, and is undoubtedly 2019's best comic book movie, agreed? The Marvel Cinematic Universe might be taking a battering in the press right now thanks to a procession of proper directors who missed the days when all they had to worry about was George Lucas and Alien with glowing fingers. But no. That's basically, they got this article here pretending it's pro-DC, then they got the defence for Marvel already and prepared. These people like Martin Scorsese are concerned about the future of the industry, and that's why they're speaking out. We must have more of a variety of films. I've been going on about this for ages. What Scorsese is saying is absolutely spot on. The MCU movies are forgettable, they're big events, you watch them and you forget about them. We need more than that in this industry. But Kevin Feige and the gang certainly know how to make a film feel like an unmissable worldwide event, even though it's not. I said that. Avengers movies have always been huge releases on the cinematic calendar, but the shocking and depressing conclusion to Avengers Infinity War had fans on the edge of their seats for an entire year as they patiently awaited the 2019 follow-up. And I've actually just recorded this moment an Avengers Endgame review, which I'll be uploading later. And I have a lot to say about that movie. Avengers Endgame did not disappoint the decade-long character arcs of Steve Rogers and Tony Stark. You see, this is supposed to be a Joker article. This is just a defence for the MCU, just squeezed in there, right? Came to a stunning and satisfying conclusion. No, Avengers Endgame was a very, very disappointing film as far as I'm concerned. Check out my review later. Paying off several movies worth of build-up in genuinely emotive fashion, and Marvel bestowed the world of cinema with two iconic moments in Captain America wielding Thor's hammer, oh God, and Doctor Strange ushering in reinforcements from across the galaxy. Scenes that still tingle the spine, no they don't, to this day. Prior to Avengers Endgame's release, many were concerned that the glut of big names involved would result in a convoluted mess of a movie. Yes, that's what I think it was, with the heroes constantly jostling for position, but the balance was surprisingly well stuck, even if Captain Marvel did have to be excused for the bulk of the movie. Yes, because of the reaction of what Brie Larson was saying. She was dumped out of that movie for a reason, and we all know that. But this is a Joker article. Given the sheer weight of expectation thrust upon it, Avengers Endgame revealed in a rapturous response and glowing reviews. Well, you shills always give the MCU movies a glowing review, even if it's crap. Glowing reviews, and no one was too surprised when, after an opportunistic re-release with a few snippets of new footage, the conclusion to Marvel's Infinity Saga kicked James Cameron's Blue Echo Warriors off the top of the cinematic pile. Kevin Feige had won the day. He's won the day via box office, not via making great pieces of art. This is what Scorsese's trying to say, and what Access Media won't accept. Go and watch John Campion's reaction to what Scorsese's going. They're shills on the payroll. There were rumours of Oscar contention, and absolutely no way was any comic book film was coming close to Avengers Endgame for quite some time. Avengers Endgame, Black Panther do not deserve Oscars. I say maybe Infinity War. Yeah, maybe Infinity War could have argued that, but not Endgame. No way, ridiculous. Anyway. Under a cloud of mystery and an understandably tentative DC released Joker in October 2019, an audience's minds were collectively blown. Avengers Endgame is everything it could have possibly been, a thrilling cocktail of astounding action sequences and dramatic tense sense of foreboding paid off, with an opposite and equal uplift when the good guys finally win. There's dark spots in all right places and exemplary use of Marvel's trademark comedic touches where necessary. This is a fucking Endgame review, isn't it? I'm reading this to my audience for the Joker. Get on with it. Could even be described as the pinnacle of modern superhero movie format, but it's an experience viewers have had before. They basically titled an article about the Joker and they're shilling over Marvel. Ridiculous. Avengers Endgame offers more or less the same formula as the other Marvel and DC blockbusters. No, not the DC blockbusters. The DC blockbusters are very different. That's what's been the big talking point, hasn't it? Albeit on a previously unmatched scale, this need not be a criticism, but if all movies can be boiled down to the emotions and feelings they draw out of the viewer, the MCU's crossover extravaganza offers excitement, despair, joy and wonder, all of which are components of any decent major studio blockbuster, even if the Avengers gang did it better than most. Sorry guys, I honestly didn't realise this was going to be a shillings session for the MCU. Oh, they're disgusting. Now we're talking about the Joker. Joker invites a similarly intense reaction from its audience, but provides a completely different roller coaster of a film. A ride of fear, disquiet, chaos, and moral ambiguity, which Joker certainly isn't. Isn't the first movie to be a deliberately unsettling watch. It's very much the first comic book adaptation to incorporate elements of crime thrillers, neo-noir, and protagonists with a stuttering moral compass. For the better or worse, Joker offered fans a completely new comic book experience, a distinct rarity in 2019, but this isn't merely a case of Emperor's New Clothes. Todd Phillips' movie isn't superior to Avengers Endgame. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. One more time. Yes, it is. Just because it's the more original of the two. But because it takes... Oh, all right. So basically, you are saying it's superior. Okay, I apologise. But because it takes the core elements of its Batman inspiration and drills down deep to reach a level of storytelling major studio releases in any genre don't usually venture towards. It's often said that Pink Floyd guitarist David Gilmour can do more with one note than most guitarists can with 20. And in the same spirit, Joker achieves more with its limited characters and budget and setting that almost any other comic book movie before it. Arthur Fleck's arc fills the stage, despite Joker essentially being only a 4 or 5 character piece. thanks to the detail of Joaquin Phoenix's performance and the film's willingness to explore his psyche in its full uncensored glory. Without the restrictions of conventional structure, Joker's plot is allowed to develop naturally alongside its lead character, almost as a train of thought, rather than needing to hit certain beats at certain junctures. And the music, while somewhat minimalistic, isn't just used to lift or dramatize a scene, but perfectly accentuates Arthur's state of mind in each scene, bringing Joker back to its primary focus. Joker doesn't have many components to it, but it takes the time to make full and thorough use of each asset, and with the focus squarely on Arthur Fleck's mentality at all times, Joker has a relentless sense of purpose that hits home at a more human level than even the best battle sequence or superhero landing could possibly achieve. In considering whether or not the Clown Prince of Crime should be the Crown Prince of 2019's comic book movies, it's vital to consider Joker's impact on the genre as a whole. Before Joaquin Phoenix became the Batman's infamous nemesis, at least we think he did, many would have doubted whether such an unconventional and obtuse adaptation was possible. If it could be done, why would any studio risk making it? Well, Warner Brothers did, because the mentality is different now. And if they did, would it be a success? Joker has answered all of those concerns emphatically and set a dangerously exciting precedent for future releases. Joker essentially gives filmmakers a carte blanche to throw out the rulebook, expanding the boundaries of what everyone thought comic book movies could achieve. Even those who didn't enjoy Joker would have to admit that the film paves the way for more risky, more diverse stories in the years to come. And this alone is a worthy praise of an undoubtedly Avengers Endgame mastered the comic book movie as it stood, but Joker changed it entirely with an incredibly ambitious and unique approach, putting it head and shoulders above the rest of the pack when it comes to determining the best comic book movie of 2019 had to offer. That's a very good article when we got to the main point. Now, there has been conversations in the past, I think, 5 years, where we've had superhero fatigue. They've been talking about superhero fatigue. Now, this is just journalists finding something to talk about. But I think what they've been saying is eventually it's going to fatigue and it's going to have its day. Joker has changed that, because as this gentleman says in the article, this film actually says to other people, you can literally throw the rule book out and do anything you want. You can turn the superhero genre on its head and do a character study if you want. You can do so many different things now. There are no rules anymore. And what Joker has done, especially for DC and Warner Brothers, and this black label for the DCEU and for the Batman universe and the Green Lantern movie that Geoff Johns is working on, if he is indeed still working on it, and I'll try and get some information on that in the next few weeks for you, I think that this has changed everything. It takes away the fatigue element, because all of a sudden, Joker has refreshed the whole franchise of superhero movies. And that, my friends, is really exciting, especially if you're a DC fan.